Hi, everybody, and hello, my beautiful co host and cosmic sister and soul sister and everything, right? My cosmic, wonderful, special being.
Yes.
And to all of you watching us, a gentle welcome to the Cosmic Sis-Stars Show with Corinne and Anne, and into a space where the veil thins, the inner voice rises, and the soul steps forward with clarity. In this episode, we open the doorway to the higher self, the luminous presence that has always walked with us, whispering guidance, offering truth, and holding the wider perspective of our journey. Tonight, we explore how this sacred conversation unfolds, how intuition becomes language, how inner knowing becomes companionship, and how the higher self becomes a living dialogue rather than a distant concept. Together, the subtle threads, no, sorry, I rephrase that. Together, we follow the subtle threads and the nudges, the quiet expansions, the moments when something inside says, yes, this is me. This is my
Yes.
truth. Welcome to a heartfelt, multidimensional conversation with a part of you that never forgets who you are. And today, it's Wednesday, July 8th in US and Europe, and our future Australia, July 9th. And we will talk about conversations with the higher self, plus your questions if you have any, so don't hesitate. Write something for us in the chat, right? Our last show on Cosmic Guardians and Cosmic Sisters was last Wednesday, July 1st, and we talked about becoming the observer, the art of neutrality, and how to cope with the world around us in an easier way, actually, when you become the observer. We go live to you on YouTube every week at youtube.com/at Cosmic Guardians 111/streams and youtube.com/at Place on Earth/streams. And right after the show, we stream the replay at facebook.com/Cosmic Guardians. So now, let's take a soft breath and arrive fully into this moment and dive deep as usual into today's topic.
And what a topic. What a topic. You know, in the twilight, if you've ever been up at that time in the pre-dawn, there's a magical moment. And it's a moment of splendor and wonder. And then at dusk, just moments before the light completely fades, there is this bewitching time. This is the time when people in the mystical world will see the little fairies and the gnomes and all of the other dimensions that live in that brief moment. It's when the world stops and the magic happens.
Yes.
And to me, this is a beautiful time because it allows you to have that communication. And the masters of our past knew how important these intervals were, and that the world takes a breath. And especially in pre dawn, all of the ancient writers will talk about how important it is in that quiet time, just before the sun hits the horizon and starts waking the world up. There is this little bit of time where everything is in total darkness. Nature literally stops and pauses. And it is this time when the veil between the worlds is the thinnest. And this is the time when you can really listen with your heart and have that direct communication. And this is the beauty between the physical and divine. And this is something that if you are privy to it and you think about it, it's a wonderful time to communicate. However, when you're beginning and the universe says, hey, we need to have a talk, my wake up time was 4:44 in the morning. I'd wake up wide awake and they'd say, take a pen. And I would start writing. And I started listening at that time well before I knew any of this information of how it was really real. But that was the time that I would get a lot. I call them downloads, but they were conversations. And one night I got up and I wrote an entire program for the divine couples. And I just like taking dictation. And it is that magic time. So we all are privy to it. It's just sometimes it's like, 4:30 in the morning. I have to get up at 6. Well, do the math. I can't have enough sleep before then and so forth. But if you just, I love this word, surrender
Yes.
to the moment and allow for these possibilities to happen, you're going to be finding that you're communicating with your higher self.
Yeah. You know, there are many moments in our lives when the outer world becomes too loud and the inner world begins to call with a clarity. And sometimes I call that they speak to me with a frying pan. Hey, you, listen. Because
Oh,
it
yeah.
simply cannot be ignored. It's not like you are forced into doing anything, but they really want you to listen because something is up, right?
Yes.
And we have guides and guidance from many places, but it comes through our higher self, right? And just like you, but I had it a little differently. When it started for me so long ago, I was showered with all these numbers: 111, 333, 444, 555, 1111, because we
Yeah.
go with the military time clock in Sweden, 2222, or even, like numbers. You can see 123. That's also like knocking on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And I did, in the beginning, I wrote it down all the time, but it increased. I had hundreds on a daily level. Because what happens is, like everything else, what we focus on, that is what's going to increase, right?
Exactly.
Plus, that when it's notice that you pay attention, it does increase. And it's up to us to learn how this functions for us, right?
Hmm.
So if we allow this over time, it's going to become a steady presence, a luminous companion guiding you toward the truth of who you are. And just like you, uh, I started with writing, sitting with a pen and paper. But in the first week, my perception of automatic writing or getting downloads was, okay, there's a spirit coming and taking over my pen. And that didn't happen, right?
No.
So when we write, we are stepping into the flow. So don't bother about the spelling or how it's coming out or anything. You can correct that after. You're going to understand, but you are getting messages, and it's fascinating how accurate they were, actually.
Yes.
So that luminous companion guiding you toward the truth, who you truly are, that's your higher self, the eternal aspect of your being that has never been confused, never been afraid, never been disconnected from the infinite field of creation. So there you go.
Yes. And I love the way that you place that, because we are not channeling. Well, I don't channel, and I know different people have different versions, but I don't actually. Channeling in my definition, or from what I've understood, is something takes over and then it talks through you. This
Yes.
is a divine connection. It's a conversation. It's
Yes.
not a forced, you're going to do this because I say. It's hey, let's talk about this. You wanna take this down, and it's a gentle conversation that I'm having with my. I have a challenge with using the word higher, because that makes it sound like we're less. We're not less
Maybe
than.
maybe infinite self.
Yes, I love that. Let's refer to that, because um, for eons, the illusion of the matrix is that we're small and we can't function without having something bigger than or higher than us, protecting us and telling us what to do and everything else. And this is an illusion that I broke a long time ago. Um, so, what was the word you used again?
Infinite self.
Infinite self. Yes, it is. It is our divine acknowledgement of that we do have this connection, and especially when during meditation with the group, every message that is coming through now is saying, remember that you are unique. You are very important to what is happening. Just being here and holding that space, you are so vital to the whole picture. It's as if I tell people, I use this as an illustration, and if you were one penny short of $1 million, how valuable would that penny be?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's 1 million. So we are very important, and we came here to uh, be of a contribution to the grandeur of what is happening. And so the illusion of thinking that we are less than, that we need to have something else tell us how we are, is something that I learned is not a true thing. And when you communicate with, let's put it in these words, an equal, whether they're running the whole universe or not, we are equal with, and we have a conversation equal. We don't have a,
Yes.
well, now little kid, you need to put on your coat, you need to do this. And when you start communicating with that ethereal extension of yourself, um, it's grand. It's brilliant.
Yes, and it's always present in your life when you allow it to be. That's the
Mhm.
beautiful thing, right?
Yes.
To have a conversation with your infinite self. So we changed the wording here during the show, right?
Infinite. Yes.
Instead of higher self, we refer to it as infinite self. Hi, Radiant Wellness LLC. Hi, Radiant Wellness. So happy to have you here.
Hello.
um, well, to have a conversation with your infinite self is not to reach upward, because that is what we have been taught. I'm reaching up
Hmm.
there, right?
Yep.
It's reaching inward. It is not a striving, but a remembering. The infinite self does not speak in urgency or demand, just as you say. There is never ever going to come, you have to do this, because if you don't do that, it's going to be bad for you. No, that's something else trying to sneak in. I would actually say, go away.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So the infinite self speaks. No, its language is spaciousness, resonance, and quiet certainty, because it knows. It is a part of you, like something that has always been with you, and it communicates through the subtle shifts in your energy, the sudden clarity in your thoughts, the warmth that spread through your chest when something aligns with your truth. It is the part of you that already knows the path, already holds the map, already sees the horizon that your human eyes have not yet reached. Because the human part of us, we come into this world and where's my map? Where's my compass?
I,
Right?
I'm still looking for it. Yeah.
And something else, I continue a little bit more here. The infinite self does not remove challenges, but it dissolves confusion. There's no confusion connected to it, right? It does
Exactly.
not erase pain, but it reveals the wisdom within it. It does not promise perfection, but it offers coherence, harmony, and a sense of being held by something vast and benevolent. Did I say that correctly? Yes?
Beautifully.
Yes, please.
You pronounce the English words better than I do.
Well, I doubt that. But anyway.
Yes. But what if we could just say, "Dear me, how have we been?" The simplest form of communication, and have a soul-to-soul conversation with our infinite self. And we forget how easy that really is. I mean, where do you think that your great ideas come from? Where do we incur the courage to press on when everything tells us, just walk away? And where does our solace come from when we're facing these challenges? Our highest vibration is our infinite self. It is our glorious inner connection to the vast oneness, to the limitlessness of creation.
Beautiful.
I mean, we are that. We're just having a human experience, and we forget that we are still connected to all of this wonderful stuff. So, you know,
Yes,
we just,
exactly. And when we say it's a good thing to sometimes have a little bit of time alone, being in your own energy to hear yourself. This is exactly what we mean. Because when you detach yourself for a brief moment from all the, the sounds and storms and everything outside in the world, we can hear our higher self better. So being in silence sometimes is a wonderful thing. We need that sometimes. We don't need to hear 100 advice for how we're going to manage this situation. If we allow ourselves to hear, we're going to hear.
yes, yes.
We are
And
going to hear, and in that silence, you can feel a soft rearranging of your inner world, the gentle clearing of patterns, the release of identities that no longer serve your evolution. All of those things you have taken on as extra layers on yourself, which are not really you, right? So you begin to sense the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of truth. Fear contracts, truth expands. Fear rushes, truth is patient. Fear
exactly.
demands, truth invites. The infinite self always invites you into a deeper version of yourself, into a more spacious way of living, into a more luminous way of being.
Yes. That was perfectly said, because when a person is beginning to listen to their infinite self, there's questions. Is it my imagination? Why am I doing this? Well, you said, you know, the fear. This is what fear feels like. This is what truth feels like. That was
Yes.
perfect. I'm gonna write that down in the annals of my record here. And there are
Okay.
3 things that I remember. That number 1, we are divine souls, pure energy having a human experience. This has been said 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it 1,001 times. Number 2, we are always connected to our universal oneness. Number
Yes.
3, we are unique, we are valued, we are loved unconditionally. Without our contribution, the universe would not be complete. Those are like the bylaws. Those are like, these do not change. And it is only our perceptions and our illusions that tell us that we are not that divine being and that we are disconnected. So
Yeah. And guidance that comes in the form of, no, you're not going to do that, you're on the wrong path, or why do you even consider that, or that's not a good idea, you cannot do that. Others maybe can, but you can't. That is
exactly.
something to say, okay, you disappear from here now. I demand that you disappear.
That's right. Yeah, we are more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. And
We are.
and on Tuesday nights when I have the group come for meditation, and afterwards there is always divine connection that is comes in the form of a conversation like we're having, and we're always told from our friends in other dimensions that the uniqueness of our being human at this particular time was divinely guided. We are on the cusp of bringing humanity to its greatest potential. Not not a year from now, not 50 years from now, not a trillion years from now. It is now. It is happening now. And and the human side of me goes, this kind of looks like a lot of work. Maybe I should look at my contract. Do I have an exit plan? Nope, I got to stay here for a while. Uh, but that's the humanness. And then when I remember that my human is just having the experience, but my infinite self, my true self, says, "Hey, we got this." And that's the beauty of having that connection and staying with that connection. And it's just nice having that little hug that you got all of this support. And
Yes, fantastic support. And just as you said, when you continue to listen, you discover that your infinite self is not separate from you, infinite or higher self, so people can understand what I'm talking to, right?
exactly.
It's
Yes.
not a distant guide, it's not an external force. It is your own consciousness in its most awakened form, the purest form. It is the part of you that remembers your cosmic origins, your soul agreements, your purpose, your gifts, and your infinite nature. It is a part of you that has never ever forgotten that you are a multidimensional being navigating a human experience with courage and grace, the best we can, to our best ability, right?
That's right.
It's not
Yes,
always graceful to be a human, right? But we
exactly.
can still say that. I'm stubbornly going to say that it is anyway, right?
Oh yes. And I am so grateful, like you, that we got a really good dose of being stubbornly tenacious. But that is what allows us to, when we come up against something that seems insurmountable, and we just we rely on everything that we are and say, hey, you know, that's interesting. I'm observing what needs to be done. I'm going to stay in my connection, and you know what? We'll just move through it, and and we just keep on going. But you to have that connection, like we've said very often, you need to be still. That calm communication where you can listen with your heart. Our
Yes.
heart is the greatest communicator. It is what connects us to that highest frequency of love. When we open our heart energy and allow ourselves to become in tune, we are in tune with that sacred frequency. And then
Yeah.
it becomes effortless to feel that divine connection. And that clarity removes confusion, as you've said. The stillness overcomes the static, and the love overcomes the fears. And there is this subtle awareness that we are still connected.
Yes. Beautifully said. Something came to me while you were talking about this, about the part of love, you know. Um, I can talk for myself and probably many empaths out there, including you, right? I've been taught many times in my life that I'm too kind, too nice, too loving, too just about anything on that side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled with that part, not struggled in a negative way, but it challenged me. So it took a little bit of time to dig into. But at the end, I said to myself, okay, am I willing to change that love I feel for others or the world or you name it, right?
Mm-hmm.
To fit in to something that I don't really sometimes feel connected to, right? And I said to myself, no, I'm not going to change that because being nice, being empathetic, it's not being naive. It's not being um, stupid, silly, um, easily manipulated. It's what we do with it because the best thing to live our authentic self and hold that connection with the higher infinite self is actually to be authentic and come to terms with that. How can I navigate this world? Because being a very loving person doesn't mean that you can't have boundaries, you can't say no. A lot of people tried me. To a colleague once, and this is a funny story. He said to me, "You so sweet and you so nice, you can't say no." And I looked at him straight in the eyes and I said, "Okay, you come here and you try me." He didn't come, so I said to him, "You chicken."
Exactly. And our sensitivity allows us to make that connection a lot easier than people that aren't sensitive. But sensitivity is not a vulnerability. It is a heightened uh, uh, sense that we have. People think we just have six senses, but we have the sense of awareness of where things are around us. We have the sense of feeling what other people are feeling. We are sensual beings, and this is how we navigate in this
Yes,
in this interesting world. But
yes,
as we allow, I love that word, as we allow our true divinity to come forth, it makes it a lot easier to have these soul to soul conversations. And they become as fluid and easy as you and I talking. You know,
Yes.
there's no okay protocol. We have to this, we have to that. You know, I have to be in perfect shape. I have to be a perfect being and everything else. No, this is, hey, buddy, how are we doing? You know, yep, we got it. And our own personal cheerleaders. And we all need
Exactly.
to remember that we've
Yeah.
got a crew behind us. Sometimes during the meditation, and I will be explaining how for so many years in my conscious awareness, at least 50 years of knowing that I came here to be of assistance to what was going on. And the changes that are happening, they seem astronomical right now. And yet, over the last 50 years, if people knew how many things have been averted and shifted because of all the people standing here going, yeah, I got this. I'm holding the light. You know, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm holding the light. All of the light workers that have been in place and all of the things that have been done, if you could see through my eyes and see what could have gone this way or could have gone that way, you go, hey, you know, I think I'm going to go back in my cocoon and come back out in another million years or something. But we have been diligently putting forth and holding that light. And the way that we do it is by communicating with our ethereal essence and not being separate from. And I have to always humbly admit, I'm having fun having a human experience. And I'm trying things out. I'll try this out. I'll fall flat on my face, literally. And you know, uh, but that's part of teaching this ethereal being what it's like to really be here on this playground and get a scraped knee now and then. And you know, but this is part of it. And it is enriching my being, my ethereal being, by being here and playing with you guys. Um, and
And we're
and
so
and
happy that you are.
and I do love this Gaia. Gaia is so beautiful, and she's got so much to offer. And with every essence, when I'm connected to the earth, it's like, yeah, we got this, we got this. And every now and then, mother has to, you know, send humanity into its timeout and say, no, wait a minute, you know, you're really messing things up. We gotta, you know, things. But that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole another story. And then
Oh, a whole nother story.
something else came up for me when it comes to being sensitive. Many people who I talk to, they say it's so hard sometimes. It's challenging because I can feel everything when I go into a room or into an environment
Mhm.
or things of that nature. But when you do connect and work on yourself, you connect to your higher self or infinite self. And that is something you're going to eventually master. So you don't need
Mhm.
to change that part of yourself either. That's the good news. But
Yes.
yes, until we master something, yeah, we are trying methods out. That's the human way of doing things, right? So it's
Hmm.
kind of natural in that sense.
Yes.
But it's you can't put a price on it. You can't put a price tag on connecting with your higher self because that is fantastic and you get so much information and your guidance is coming basically from there, right?
Yeah.
Also through other entities and beings higher up in the hierarchy, but also uh, in my sense, our higher self or infinite self is is working like a filter in one way or another. And as it comes to each and every filter we have, even as if we are giving intuitive advice or anything, how clear is my own filter? How can I work on clearing my filter so it becomes the purest I can? Because
Yes.
that is how I'm going to receive accurate information, right? So to living in conversation with the infinite self is to walk through the world with a quiet radiance. You become more present, more intuitive, more compassionate, more aligned. You begin to trust the timing of your life, the divine timing, the unfolding of your path. So when you're not pushing and rushing it, you listen and you connect with your infinite self, your path is going to come easy for you, your path forward. The synchronicities that appear like breadcrumbs leading you home, you begin to feel supported by the unseen realms, connected to the cosmic guardians who walk beside you. Yeah, we have cosmic guardians. I love that because that's the name of our show as well.
Yes.
Cosmic Sis-Stars. And you feel anchored in the truth that you are never ever alone. And that is
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. And last week we talked about uh, being in that neutral place and being that observer, and it goes hand in hand with being an ultra sensitive, sensual being. Because when we stay in that neutral place, then we can see with clarity what needs to be. So all the things that we've been talking about, the tools that we use to help us be a better sensitive empath, and still be able to function in the world where some things aren't sensitive, is a very important part of what we do. And yes, I just love listening to you, Anna. It's
And I love listening to you.
it's
No,
it,
it does go hand in hand. And I had my biggest lesson working at a train station for almost 4 years, meeting thousands of people. They didn't come to me personally, all of them, but they passed by, right?
mhm.
That is a true challenge and a good teaching for a sensitive person.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the four agreements. I mean, all the tools that we have available to us, um, and then you reach into your little toolbox. Oh, I need a screwdriver to unscrew this situation. I need a hammer to uh, break that down. And just as we use tools in our physical, we have tools in our ethereal. And this is part of what I love about what we're doing is maybe one or two sentences will touch somebody out there and they go, oh, well, I'm not alone. Oh, well, I can be better at this. Oh, I am connected. Just glimpses of it's okay. You're surrounded by love. You're surrounded by support, and just keep finding your true authentic self. Um, and then the conversations. Take the time to just listen.
Yeah.
And as you said before, how is this truth or is this fear? And what you said about that was so beautifully said. Um, it really
I can
makes it a lot
rephrase
easier.
it because I actually posted it in the comments. You
Good,
want me to?
good,
Yeah. So
because
you begin to sense the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of truth.
Yes.
Fear contracts, truth expands. Fear rushes, truth is patient. Fear demands, truth invites.
Yes. You know,
And it's so
and
true. And that's how we can determine, because there are stuff on the other side not to be fearful of, because if you're strong in yourself, nothing can actually reach you. But they are sneaky sometimes and they do try. That's it. So I always say, here, but not further, stopping you here.
exactly. And and I know we've spoken quite a bit about lovingly putting up uh, what is, I don't want to say boundaries, because we don't put boundaries around us. We put um, boundaries.
Frames, frames.
Yes, it's like hi neighbor, how are you? But this is as far as you're going to go. And nothing says that a loving person has to sit there and be a receiving for all the negativity and all the problems of the world. Um, you can't function if you're down and out. And that old, put the mask on your face first. And
Yeah,
my good standby is ancient proverb says, cannot pour tea from empty teapot. So we have
exactly.
to have
I
our spiritual hygiene is very important.
It is important. I have a funny story from today. I don't have so many of these calls, but when they are calling you for sales or something, investments or whatever they call, but it
Right.
doesn't always look like a number. And on my phone, I have a separate. It goes in a separate place when the number is unknown to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it looked like a Stockholm number, so I actually answered. No, yeah, I didn't have the time because I was too late. So I called back just to check. Because sometimes, things happen in the family or there can be other stuff, right? So I
Right.
called back and I said, you called me just half a minute ago. And the person said something and said, who are you? I said, I'm going to tell you who I am when you tell me because you called me. So you tell me who you are
Exactly.
first. And
Yeah.
then he said something and I said, not interested. And he's blocked. That's how gentle
Wow.
I am, right?
Well, I find, especially when they call up and they address me by my first name. Well, first of all, 50 years ago, I changed the spelling, and my name is not. I don't go by Karen. I go by Karine. That was a gift that was given to me by a friend, and it has a little bit of a story, but it has been my moniker for 50 years. So when they call, hi, Karen, and they don't even say who they are, they just say Karen, like I'm supposed to go, oh, they know me. I'm just going to give everything away and everything else. And I said, and who's calling? Well, and what are you calling for? Well, thank you. And, but I can tell when it's going to be one of those types of calls or when it's robotic. And it's like I finally, and this is the human part of me, because my sanctuary is my home, and my home is my sanctuary. And I hold classes here, and I have meditation here, and I work with clients here. And on my front door, I have a sign that says, "If you don't know me or don't have an appointment, don't bother me." And then it lists all the people who can't. The people wanting you to change religions, wanting you to buy cookies, wanting you to support this. And I said, I don't bother you at your business. Don't bother me at mine. it's
Good.
it has I'm not being rude, but you know go talk to somebody that wants to listen to you, because I'm doing things, and I do not want to be disturbed when I am working with a client or something. But
No, and I understand, because those who are calling, they are usually the ones that are in need of work and stuff of that nature. But it's still, if I want something, I'm going to go and find it. You don't
Yes.
need to bother me all the time, right?
And it's very invasive,
Yes, it
and
is amazing.
so
Plus, we have after lunchtime here from 3 o'clock to 5, we have what they call in Spain siesta.
oh
So
yes.
it's the quiet hours and you rest a little bit because it's the hottest hours during summertime. So
Well, that's normal people would do that. It's just there's an expression that I'd heard a lot of times that uh, it's only the white people that go out and run in the heat of the day, and the Native Americans look at him and said, "Oh, crazy white man, no, settle down when too hot to run." You know? But
exactly.
but that's it. You need there again working with
Yeah.
nature and finding that balance and harmony and rhythm and oh yes, I'm
Actually,
so in love.
in Greece, they call it messimeriano, different word from siesta, right?
Yes.
Um, but it's actually a law here to be quiet from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And
How wonderful. You
shops
know?
close at 1 and they open again at 5.
Exactly.
Good idea.
And and I mean, because they learned to work with nature. That was before someone came in and said, "Well, we have AC that will keep it cool all day long, and you can just work until you drop, and you don't have any family life, and we'll keep the lights on because we know how to." But there's an ebb and flow with nature, and when we get out of kilter, nature gets out of kilter.
Yes.
So
So when you do connect with your higher self or infinite self, your infinite, cosmic higher self,
yes,
every moment becomes an opportunity to listen. Every breath becomes an invitation to return to your center. Every challenge becomes a doorway to deeper wisdom. The higher self or infinite self is always speaking, always. The question is simply whether you are willing to slow down enough to hear it. So, when you do, your life becomes a conversation with the infinite.
hmm yeah,
Exactly.
that's beautiful.
So, are you ready for the hot seat?
Oh, absolutely. I even turned on a couple of extra fans just to keep it from sizzling here.
Great.
Your simple questions.
Yes. Simple and, questions or reflections. So,
Yep.
as we explore today's theme, here are a few reflections that will help us and everybody feel into the shift or the topic or what we have been talking about. And these reflections are not only for us, they are for all of you watching and listening as well. That is important, right? So, first one, what does your higher self want you to notice in your life right now?
Oh, oh, I love that simple question. Um, I think the greatest message that I'm getting right now is to be gentle with ourselves, to understand that everything that we need to be able to sustain our brilliance, our visibility, is being given to us. That this is the time to really understand that we are connected. And just being in your own presence and being in the now, you are supported, you are loved, you are, um, as one of my clients says, we are the boots on the ground.
Yes.
And we are in such a right now the next 3 months are really pivotal to a lot of things that are going on. And this is the time to center ourselves, to take care of our spiritual hygiene, and to just really go into that observer, because everything we need to know, we know. And when we need to do something with what we know, that will be given to us. And it's very comforting to know that the universe is standing right there saying, "We got you."
Exactly. Beautifully said. So, second question. Where do you feel the clearest connection to your inner guidance?
Where physically or emotionally?
Yeah, you can take both of them if you want to.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I just made more work for myself. Okay. My clearest connection, I would say, is at that 4:44 in the morning. I am completely uncluttered. I haven't gone into the deep dream state, and it's like the veil opens up and says, "Hey, you don't want to come out and play?" And I go, "Well, sure, but I was thinking of catching a few more winks." Well, come on, you're missing all the good times. Um, and the closest connection I feel, I think, when I'm going into a crisis situation
Yeah.
and a challenge, there is just a moment of calmness. It's almost as if the eye of the storm. And literally, when I fell flat on my face the other day, and I literally was airborne and
Yeah. Oof.
landed face down on the concrete. And I can tell you, at that moment, I was completely cushioned. I mean, I got up from there, and in my shoulder I had one little tiny bruise on my shoulder. Um, and at my advanced age, according to the physiology of humans, I should have been I should have been a heap of and a mess. And I know that at that divine moment, that fall was cushioned. Now I needed to go through the experience because it was telling me, "You're not listening. Now's the time to kind of slow down." But it was done gently. And I guess I would have to say that was a great example
Yeah.
of having that connection with my ethereal self.
Yeah. Because even us, we don't always listen, do we?
Well,
No.
we're still human,
Yeah,
you
we are
know.
still human. And, um, it's okay because we are here, we chose to come here. So we also need to consider being grounded on this earth, right? So that means that sometimes you're not going to listen. I didn't do that either a couple of
I
years ago,
know.
did I? No. But anyway, so what shifts when you pause and listen instead of reacting?
I personally know that there is a chemical change in my body. There is it's almost like shifting gears. There is that moment when it can choose panic and fear, or choose calm and solace. And it is so instantaneous that I really couldn't say, okay, it's happening right now. It happens, and it prepares me for what's coming next. But stopping for that pause, as I was talking to one of my students last night, and I said, she's beginning to learn the four agreements, and I said, It's not about reading it and learning it and just da 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 da. It's about recognizing when you are recognizing it. When you start to say something or you say it, you realize I can refrain that. I can be more impeccable with my speech. And you go, okay, give yourself a gold star because you recognized that you were changing the behavior. And it's these small recognitions that allow you to be clear. And when you pause, it resets everything. It's it's like everything goes in slow motion. You've seen these things go like this. Well, that's kind of what happens. And it's only for an instant, but it gives you a chance to reconnect where maybe that connection has been overworked. And you go, okay, now I'm reconnected. Now I can go on.
Yes. Wonderful. You are saying everything so beautifully. Perfect.
And I tell you, when we talk, I am in total connection with my ethereal self. You're speaking to my ethereal self. And I'm just sitting here going, whoa, that was cool. That's interesting. I'll have to remember that. But this is the beauty. I am speaking to you as you are speaking to me. Our higher ethereal selves are having this conversation. We're just
I
along
know.
for the ride.
Yes.
So
And
thank you.
thank you. And when we are in that flow also, that's why many times, we say something and then all of a sudden, okay, did I say that? Yes, I did.
I know. It's like I gotta meet that person because that was pretty interesting. And and that's what we do when we're in the flow.
Yes. So, fourth question, how does your higher self or infinite self, or you had another ethereal self, speak
Yeah.
to you through everyday moments? How comes the day about for you?
Uh, that varies from moment to moment, from a subtle nudge to falling flat on my face. So I mean, there's a lot there's a lot of ways, but it's just trusting that when I get that little nudge, uh, you you really think you ought to go this way, and I go, and I literally find myself saying, okay, I'll reconsider that instead of just ignoring it. And the more and more that you trust that inner guidance and acknowledging it, just
Yes.
saying, I heard you, may not do anything with it, but I did hear you. Each time you do that, you recognize the information a little quicker. And, but how do you find when your, your higher self is saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't get on that bicycle?
Yeah, I know I should have listened, but that's my stubbornness, because I was thinking about good old days. I've been doing like competition twice, not professionally, just as an ordinary person, right?
Mhm.
Competition, a little bit over 50 kilometers on bicycle.
Wow.
I've been on a bike my half of my life. I had a
Yeah.
motorcycle when I was younger. I've been a
Whoa.
tough cookie, to be honest, because I always had this sense if someone else can, well, I can. I've been scuba diving. So I didn't consider actually for real that maybe I should consider that, yeah, our physical body do change sometimes for
Yeah.
certain reasons. So I should have listened to that. But for me, it's if I encounter something that I feel unsure about, I do what we talked about last week. I take a step back and I become the observer. It may
Mhm.
be for an hour, it may be for 5 minutes, But I take my time and then I go ahead, because that's when I am in my energy connected to my infinite self, which I want to hear. And in the old days, I always vented my challenges, right? And we need to state them sometimes.
Yeah.
But usually, as I was taught, we are crushing everything by talking all the time, and we're worrying about things, and we put a lot of focus on that. So I stopped that many years ago, because that's not going to bring me to have a connection with my higher self or infinite self, right?
Right.
So that's my side of things. Yes.
Yep.
Last question. What truth becomes visible when you ask for clarity from within?
That is a simple question. Thank you for asking that. Now I'm going to have to go out as simple into, so I'm not going to, I'm going to let my friend answer this by saying that when I find peace in the present moment, I know that I am listening to the guidance of my true authentic self.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. And a truth that is non-pushing, non-demanding. It contains unconditional love. It
Yes.
just gives you help and guidance. It doesn't force you to anything. That is important, right? Like we
Very
said
important.
before.
Yep. Oh,
So
wow.
beautiful, lady. We have an affirmation. Do you want to read the affirmation?
Please. I open my inner space with softness, and my higher self meets me there, guiding me with clarity, lifting me into truth, and reminding me that I am never separate from the wisdom that lives within me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else we want to mention?
Always. But tune in next week.
Yeah, I know. We always have a lot of things that we want to express, right?
We got to
That's
have
not.
those cliffhangers, We got to, wait until the next episode. The next episode.
Yes, exactly. So maybe we are wrapping this up then a little bit, right?
Yep.
So here we go. Dashes and slashes and, everything of that nature. So find upcoming and past episodes at youtube.com/@cosmicguardians111/streams and youtube.com/@angelplaceonearth/streams and angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. Plus, you can also go to facebook.com/cosmic guardians. Connect with us, read articles, find out details about Karine and myself at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And you also find Miss Karine at liquidenergyhealing.com.
Yes.
Next upcoming show on Cosmic Guardians and Cosmic Sis-Stars is next Wednesday, July 15th. And we will talk about the beauty of being sensitive. Because it is a beauty. It doesn't always feel like a blessing, but it's fantastic.
Right.
We do go live for you every Wednesday in US and Europe and every Thursday in Australia, early morning. So, as we gently close this circle, feel how the conversation continues inside you, quietly, softly, with a presence that never leaves. The higher self and infinite self is not a moment in the show, it's a living thread, a companion, a steady light that walks with you long after this episode ends. It's a connection of the eons. Let tonight's reflections settle into your field. Let the insights breathe. Let the inner voice keep speaking its own natural rhythm. We will meet you again in the next episode where another doorway opens, another layer reveals itself, and the journey continues in grace. So, with infinite love, peace, and joy, we see you, we hear you, we feel you, we honor you, we love you, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.